Welcome to Whatif tutorials. In this tutorial we'll be looking at sales budget reporting in the sales budgeting module. Firstly, we'll be looking at budget header reports. Secondly, we'll be looking at budget line reports. And finally, we'll be looking at item analysis. And before you look at this tutorial, you should probably look at the tutorials on creating budget headers and creating budget line items. Click Create Edit Budgets. Here are the budgets themselves, the budget totals. What we need to do is to first of all select a budget as we have here, and then go into budget headers. In the top section we have each budget header, and in the bottom section we have the line items belonging to that budget header. Very briefly, the budget headers are created with the level of detail you require in terms of customer, salesperson, state and market type. You can have any or all of those. In this case we've got a budget based on market type by state. You can have additional parameters of shipping method and discount group. If you want to create a second header which also shows New South Wales and retail but has a shipping method in there and or a discount group, then that then becomes another header. Okay, so for each header we have line items. There's two types of line items. They're either items from the costing module, as in these two, or they are value only items. These are items created in the sales budgeting module, irrespective or independent of the costing module. As the name suggests, they are shown in value only, and it's not quantity and price, it's sales dollars that is driving these budget items. Okay, so let's look at our reports. There's three groups of reports. The first group is for selected headers and concentrates at the header level here for whatever headers you've selected. So, for example, you could select State of New South Wales and then do your reports for those selected headers. Or you could select the market type or any of these parameters here. We'll go back to all. Now, so we're now doing or looking at the reports available for headers. First one is headers by number. That is just a straight list of this information here by number. The next one shows that by order of market, by state, salesperson, customer. Let's have a look at that report. And that's this one here. So what you're seeing is, what's going on here? Sorry about that. What you see here is the all the headers, but they're in the order of market, retail, then New South Wales, Victoria, and wholesale, then New South Wales, Victoria. So that's that report, the header report. That's those two basically. Now phased, headers phased. You can show the month details, and you have several options here as to the format of this report. You can show all this information, that's quantity, sales, cost margin, percent sales, or you can select which ones you want to show on the report. We'll show them all. You can also select to look at just months, that is each month, sales for each month and so on, or you can look at year to date, or you can look at both month and year to date. So we'll do that. You can set that as your default so that in future reports you will get that option. So we go OK, but we won't print it here. We'll go down to one we printed earlier, and that's this one here. Now this is the layout of the phasing of months phased. First of all you have the month, M, there's the month, and then you have the year to date printed underneath it. You've got your headers in there. This is by header number, and that's what you got. And that's the second page, and then you come down to grand totals. Now there's a whole range of different formats, different parameters that you can use for this report, but it's the same format. So let's go back. Okay, so we were here, sales and margin summaries. These are simply taking for the selected headers a summary of whatever you select. So we might select state in this case, so you can see you've got a report by state. Okay, the next one is that's all the reports. And so as I was just referring to this, the summaries can be given at each level or whatever level you want. So they were the reports for the selected headers. We now go and look at the current budget header. That is, these are reports referring to whatever budget header you point to, and they relate to the items included in that header. So click here. First of all, we've got just a straight list of the items in the header, sorted by sequence. So essentially that report is this one. It's just each item in the selected header. So item 1, quantity, average, price, sales, average cost, margin and percent sales. You'll notice that for this item here, economy chairs, there's no quantity because it is a value item only. There's just sales, cost, and margin and percent. And if there's any freight, that appears at the bottom. Okay, so that's a straight list of items in the header. The next one is unit price and cost movements. Now, in the budgeting process, the starting point for everything is the current price and the current standard cost. By the end of the budgeting process, you'll have built the budgets by month using price and cost movements. So these were covered in earlier tutorials, but essentially this is going to show you how you've got to your budget from your starting point. So let's have a look at that report. Here it is here. Now what this shows is the elements that make up the sales and costs. So you start off with, for this item here, the current. Now that was the starting point, the current price of that item, the current discount, the current standard cost per unit, and therefore the current percent sales. Now by budget end, we had got a price up to $171,990 and cost per unit of that, and therefore we've got to a margin of that. Now this is not the average, this is the pointed by budget end, and therefore from now till the end of the budget year, we're showing an increase in price of 10%, an increase in cost of 3%, and since the price increase is greater than the cost increase, we're showing an improvement in the margin of 3.36%. Okay, now this analysis only applies to cost items from the costing module, doesn't apply to value items. Okay, so that's that one. Now the next report is the phased item budget details. So this we'll look at that. We'll look at one we've got. Phased item details. This report for each item in the current budget header. So it's basically a page for each item. Here's the header. This is the header. This is the item here. And for that item, it's like a snapshot showing you the months, the phasing of the months, the price increases planned, the cost increases planned. So that then takes you down to the total for the year, and it looks at those price and cost changes that we referred to in the previous report. Okay, so that's to give you a snapshot of a particular item, and it's virtually displaying its budget details. Okay, so they were the reports for the current budget header. Finally, there's line item reports. Now, we are now saying we're going to look at reports which are applicable to the current item. So if we click on that item there and go for reports, then these reports refer to this item only. The first one is the phased item budget, which is essentially what we just looked at, but for this particular item. The next one is the item cell cost details. Now, this particular item or any made item from the costing module will have it'll have sales and cost. The cost details can be printed. So we look at our reports here, and let's move along here. Yeah. Now this report is a cost report essentially. So it shows, first of all, it shows, yes, well, it's not a good one. Let's go back and see if we can get a better one. No, I'll have to leave it there. It shows the total cost, but in this case, it's let's see, maybe total manufacture, total cost 3527. No, that's not correct. Let me just pause this here and we'll come back. Sorry about that interruption. I'll just show you that report again. So we were talking about looking at the cost report for the current item. So we'll look at that one now here. This is the report that I really wanted to show you. Okay, so this report shows, first of all, the materials used in the normal cost layout, bill of materials. Then it shows the labour and overhead and gives you the total standard of the total cost. This is the standard cost, not the budget cost. This is where you've started from in the budgeting process. Okay, moving on, we were looking at line reports and we just looked at that item cell cost details. Another one is the BOM configuration, so where you have a made item that is also a configured item. Let's look at that one. You can print out the configuration details. Now that report should be here somewhere. Okay. Can't find it. Alright, can't find it there. Bear with me, folks. We'll try here. Okay, so this is the configured report for the particular item we've selected, and what it shows is the materials used but with no cost. It shows the quantity, it shows the waste, it shows the formula if it's driven by a formula, and quite often they are, and it shows the formula details down the bottom. It also shows any customized lists that have been used and selected for this item, and it shows the long description. Okay, so we'll go back. Finally, we've got item specifications. Well, we just looked at item specifications. Look again now. Specs, right, file, item specifications. Here is item specifications. Okay, so it shows item description and instructions and the dimensions and the classification. So that's just another report giving a bit more information. Okay, so that covers all of the reports in here, the 3 groups of reports. Let's close this now. Bear in mind that we were looking at sales budget headers and items in that context. We can look at the analysis of items in the budget in a different way. We can select the budget we want to analyze, and here we see for this budget all of the items. We're looking now at all of the items across all of the headers. So you see here there's a reference to the header, and you've got several repeats of these items within various headers. So this is where you're looking for some analysis of items across headers. So the reports we've got here, basically we've got the item details, which is essentially what you see here. You've got summaries where you can summarize by category. Say if we look down here, we can look at by category. So that report simply gives you a total for each category for that budget across all headers. The next one is there's several summaries you can have there. Finally, there's the phased budgets. Now this is looking at your phased budgets by month, and there are a lot of options here. We'll just have a look at analysis by item. So let's go to item code summary. So this will show analysis by item here. Okay, so we're looking at the budget items across all headers, and the analysis, the detail we're looking at is for each item across all the headers. So the headers are referenced here, but essentially we're looking at each item within header. Okay, so that's our total, looking at every item across all headers. The next one is summaries. Excuse me, sorry, we're in phased budgets. The next one we want to look at is a category summary. So we'll come down here and look at the category summary. This one, analysis by category. So here we have across all budget headers. We're just doing the total budget here. So we're looking at the category of item that has come up in each category across the whole budget. Okay, so we've looked at the category. The last one I'd like to show you is the which one do I want to show you? All right, we'll show this one here, market summary. Show that, so I'll come down, look at that. This one. Okay, so here we're looking at, we're looking at the item by month. So this is a summary of each item code right across the budget, irrespective of the headers. There could be several instances of each of these codes, but it is a summary by item. Okay, so in summary then, we have got a whole heap of options here to look at basically the items arranged in or categorized in a way you want. So we don't have the time to go into each one, but I think you've probably got a taste for budget reporting here, and that ends this tutorial.